Welcome to the Red Solo Talk podcast. The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the opinions or beliefs of any other individual or organization. This podcast is intended for entertainment and editorial purposes only and should not be considered professional advice or recommendations. The conversations on this show are recorded hangouts between the hosts and guests, and while we make every effort to ensure accuracy and honesty, we cannot guarantee the validity or reliability of any statements made. By listening to this podcast, you agree that the Red Solo Talk podcast and its affiliates are not responsible or liable for any damages or consequences that may arise from your use or reliance on the information and opinions expressed herein. Listener discretion is advised.
Red Solo Talk, let's talk these ideas. Red Solo Talk, let's talk these ideas. Red Solo Talk.
Thank you, sir. Oh, now it sounds good.
Are your headphones good? What do they call that?
What's that? Sound check.
No, I mean, how do artists say it in the studio?
Turn my beat up. Turn that treble up.
Oh.
So turn that snare drum up.
So there's no nickname for the headphones itself? It's just cans?
Yeah, they call it headphones.
Man, whatever.
Nah. I'm trying to think now. I'm like, yo, I will just be like, can you turn me up? Can you turn me up?
Okay,
yeah, can you turn me up?
Yeah. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, turn me up.
I had to go back to the whole experience and be like, can you turn me up?
I've heard it in movies.
Yeah. Can you turn me up?
Or music videos.
And if you're an engineer, you know that they're referring to turning their volume up because they want to hear themselves louder. Because some people like to hear themselves when they're recording, and then there's people that are really weird. They don't like to hear themselves.
So in this case, it would be turn us up.
Yes.
All right, I turned us down.
A little bit of Mark Anthony.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Well, they don't know that, but yeah.
What?
We have some Mark Anthony in the background. Are you opposed to it?
I fucking love it, man. Ever since that concert, I've been on a whole Mark Anthony binge. I went and started listening. That song that you love so much, I knew that song for years, and then I went back and learned the words, and I was like, that's why this is a good song.
Which song?
Vivi La Vida, whatever it is.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's two.
Okay. So that was that was the main one that would just hit you in the heartstrings. You was like, you know what, Mark Anthony, you must have just broke up with J-Lo.
But I'm gonna play my real favorite.
I'm not too fond of the new music, but the old stuff is always gonna hit.
Oh, this one.
Then there's the newer one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the OG one. This is terrible for the audience because they can't hear this copyrighted shit.
They would just sit here and be like, yo, but just trust us. It sounds good.
But if you sing for them, they'll hear.
We sang in the last one. That shit was so hilarious. We out here, and then you would just jump in and start,
Would you yeah, it was some rap shit.
Shit was hilarious.
I think it was 50 Cent, 21 Questions.
And we did Drake.
Mm-hmm. All right, but.
And then you dissed Rick Ross.
You ready?
Stick it in the oxo, baby.
Yes. We're doing it again, guys. Thank you. We're back in the place. The Red Solo Talk. I'm your host, Audio Jones, with one of the best co-hosts in the game,
Manny El Fuerte.
And with a reoccurring
This time,
the honorable, the amazing, the astute, the voice that made it all work last time. Go ahead, give it up
for JD.
I was ready. I had a name for you, but I didn't know if you was gonna roll with it. We'll tell it at the end of the show.
Right. Stay till the end to find out. So for those who did not watch your original pseudo appearance, let's give a little intro to who is JD.
Go back to episode 3.
Yeah.
Say everything there.
Hey, I like how he rolls.
Give him a short version.
Older brother. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great supporting.
But it can't be called Red Solo Talk without having Red Solo Cups. And you got to have something in the Red Solo Cup. And each week, each episode, We try something new. It could be a cocktail, a whiskey, a brandy, a beer, a bar, whatever. Anything from the bar. And this week, you have no idea what this is, or
I when you brought it in, I was like, "Is this nigga brought wine?"
No.
Yeah.
So it is another cognac.
Okay.
So we stick with the cognacs.
We doing the yak.
This is Selection, a fine cognac from Ade Fusigny. I keep forgetting to find out how to pronounce this shit before coming on here. But anyways, the master blender wanted you guys to know that this is subtle and elegant with vanilla, flowers, spices, and pepper. That's all that they say. That's all they give us. So other than that, you could give us a preview of the topics.
Sure.
While I pull
I'm
up.
This is very this is all very on point. This is what brings production value. One moment, guys.
Topics aren't up.
Yeah, right here. Oh, but at least you can read. You can start reading them. All
right, yeah.
And I'll pour up.
All right, so topics for tonight. We have Dave Chappelle's SNL monologue. Watched it twice. It's funny. Turn your pain into profit. And we'll see what that's all about. I'm 2 inches taller in my bio. Okay. Learning to let go. Oosa. Harnessing your anger and unleashing the dog. And last time I cried. And then some other topics might appear.
And happy Thanksgiving to date the episode. Huh? That is actually what brings you back down visiting.
Yes, I'm visiting my family for Thanksgiving. Down here for a few days.
Have you ever had this cognac before?
Nope. Never even heard of it.
Are you a cognac drinker?
Hennessy? Hennessy and Coke, yeah.
So last episode we brought it back to the year 2000s and we did Incredible Hulk.
Wow.
Which is Hennessy and Hypnotic.
It's been a while since I've heard that one.
Sorry,
We
guys,
are ready to pour up.
for my absence. You know, I'm the producer. Had to make sure all the technicals was right. We back to business. All right, what did I miss? We're pouring up. We about to taste this delicious selection called, what was it called again? Something French.
This is Selection Fine Cognac from Ade Fusigny.
Sounds French.
And as a chaser, we have homemade lemonade from my guardian angel. You've heard her, or no, you haven't. The Lost Tapes have heard her. Jalen.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay.
So we have homemade lemonade as a chaser because, so I don't know what this tastes like. I have a story of why I did pick this week's episode. So, you know, if it tastes bad, I'm thinking, you know, what chaser do we have? And I Googled good chasers for cognac and I found the Surfer's Cocktail, which is lemonade with cognac. So,
Okay.
Funny story. You know, I got introduced to it by, as y'all know, I'm a music producer. I was producing for very early in their beginning of their career was the City Girls. And the City Girls' drink of choice was cognac and lemonade.
Okay. So shout out to City Girls. This one's for you. So first, the cognac itself. We'll take a sip and taste test. First sip don't count.
That shit gave me a little shake there, you know.
Like it?
Smooth. First sip don't count though. Well, I could drink this by itself if I had to.
It's a smooth
Nice.
enough cognac that you know if you could chase it, but you wouldn't have to.
Now you are the most well versed in cognac,
Remy boys, Remy.
and Remy was your drink of choice. How does this compare to Remy?
I would probably still get Remy, but that's I mean there's nostalgia, there's the taste. Remy is more robust to me. This is smooth, but Remy does have like that. I can't drink Remy now, and at my age, like I'll be dead.
What are your thoughts?
I don't think I've tried Remy without Coke.
No, I'm saying, what about this?
This one's good. This one's good. I like it.
Does anyone? I love these descriptions that these connoisseurs have. Does anyone taste spices and pepper or vanilla or flowers? I don't know. Is that vine flowers?
Definitely flowers.
Is that vine flowers or wine flowers? I can't really.
I'm looking for the note of vanilla.
That looks like vine.
Is that what's that? What do you think that's?
Vine. That's a V.
You could barely read Arial, so.
It's vine. It's vine. It's vine. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited, guys. We're here.
We're gonna try the lemonade.
Yeah, let's go ahead and chase her down because we gotta pace ourselves. We got a hell of a show We got a hell of a show today, guys. Today we're diving into the psychology of men, of ourselves, not just men, but the psychology of. I wanted to touch on something very specific, and maybe it's on our list of topics. It probably will go into profit, term pain into profit, but I've found my new. That's enough. Sorry, my guy. I found my new. I don't want to say mantra, but it seems like so many. It's just fire. It's delish.
Ah!
You need to hit them with the emerald, like. Bam. That's a big bam.
That's what she said.
This nigga's going crazy.
You have a new mantra.
New mantra. I don't know if I would say that. So I cornered myself because I didn't want to sound so pessimistic, because it's like when you find something, like how we do, we lean into it, and we obsessed over the concept, where like now it's just like that's what I'm doing now. And it's the concept of suffering, and how suffering is the most useful tool a man will find in the world in terms of getting him to his highest potential. Do you care for me to expound?
I would love you to.
Sure. Suffering is so important. Think about this from a scientific place. The environment has pressures. The environment is producing pressures on. This is where we get evolution from, right? Those pressures can be considered suffering. It's uncomfortable. I have to change, evolve. I need to do something to change what this is doing to me. And that's where that's what suffering is. So now you get to a place where you learn to harness suffering, and to where suffering can be a useful fuel in order to speed up evolution in terms of the guy himself. Where sometimes I'll put that on the table. Like I've had so many safety nets in my life, and I had a great. There's a saying, I think, did you say it or who? I can't remember who fucking told me, like, strong men make, strong men make good times, but good times make weak men. And I think that I fell somewhat in the between of that, where I was like, because my family we were poor, but we weren't dirt poor. I mean, we still had Christmas presents, so, but there's so many things that I took for granted because of how I look at immigrants and how they come here and they fucking thrive, because they really came from real third world experiences, and they just come here and they blow us out of the fucking water. And I sit here and I'd be like, well, the fuck was different? Good times. And I mean, it's subjective, but it was too comfortable.
Yeah. And, and what you were touching on, saying how suffering, you're saying suffering. What was you saying? So suffering leads to? Suffering
will get you to your highest potential.
To highest potential.
Yeah.
I would say suffering is one side of the coin of just overall experiences. Suffering is like negative experience, and then you have positive experience. But I think experiences in general, you can learn from and evolution. All experiences. It's about harnessing, in my opinion, it's about harnessing all your experiences to reach your max potential.
Sure.
But suffering is kind of like that on steroids, because suffering is probably a much stronger motivator. Yeah. Than
you need to find any place where you see resistance, and which would probably be interchangeable word for suffering. Where he's like, I don't really want to do that because I'm scared. I'm nervous about it. I have fears. I have reluctancies. But that's leaning into the suffering. Like you're gonna suffer, but you need that in order to get to that next level. So that was just my little,
and knowing you can overcome it.
Yeah,
that builds on your confidence.
You get better. You remember when I built the bookshelf or the dresser? Yeah. I keep calling it a bookshelf forever. I today can build like a fully fucking, like I went through the suffering of learning like power drills. I was scared of a power drill, like a fucking a chop saw. This is something that we would use in the work site to cut things, and I was like, man, but what if I cut my finger off? And then you hear the loud noise, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm not touching that shit, And then I just leaned into it. I was just like, yeah, the worst of the worst is going to be the worst of the worst, but you got to do it. Yeah. So it's just leaning into the fear, leaning into the uncomfortable. And I saw, I had a real life experience today where I played a leadership role when I was really I in that field or where I on the site. I was the least experienced, but I was the most confident. Like, oh, we're gonna get this done. This is what we got to do. But where you take the role, where you realize you step to the occasion and you become, the dog.
Oh yeah, I love listening to military stories. Mm-hmm. Of where like or a squadron or whatever they're called, a platoon, whatever. The group is fighting, and one guy realizes like, wait a minute, no one's really making a decision here, and they'll kind of disengage and look around and just make a call and just scream, bah, 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 and everyone goes and listens. And he was like, oh wow, wait a minute. So sometimes it's just got to be me. Sometimes I got to just.
Sometimes you got to take. Right. You have to rise to the occasion in the moment, because everybody's frantic. It's super stressful. I won't go into details. And it would be we fucked up. We fucked up. And everybody was just like, yo, what the fuck are we going to do? I was like, chill out, relax. This is what the fuck we going to do. You take this off. This, you do this. And then at the end of the day, we chopped it up. We went and got us some fucking strawberry Ritas, and we fucking won, bro. We crushed it. We fucking crushed it.
Were people like patting you on the back like you let us?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that appealed. It appealed to my bravado, like, you the guy, dude.
You were destined to lead.
I used to run away from leadership. Like, we did the personality test, and I realized that I didn't like the concept of being a leader because I didn't want the responsibility. But it's cliche, but with great power comes responsibility. And it was like, if I lead,
not according to JD.
No? Okay.
we don't have to go there.
Oh, wait, I remember. Is that the lost tape? No,
it's you can watch it. That's funny.
But that was funny. But yeah, I didn't want to go on a tangent real quick. We can go down into
back
the topics.
Dave Chappelle.
Sorry guys, that shit was heavy on my mind. I wanted to touch on it while I was fresh, because I ain't got $1 million. I'm out here working hard and still trying to, create and be, on top of my game. So let's go into it. Dave Chappelle
Dave Chappelle was recently on SNL. We are in the year 2022. I think it was in November. It was recent enough to be in November. But October, November for sure. And he had a monologue that was 15 minutes long. And I'll just say this. One thing I'll just throw out there that I don't know if you guys know this, but allegedly, because SNL is pretty woke and pretty blue pilled, as they would say, left leaning,
liberal leaning.
Yeah. So allegedly, Dave Chappelle, he had a fake monologue that he would rehearse. Oh. And a lot of the staff didn't actually know what his actual monologue was going to be until live. That's allegedly. But I'm going to throw this over to JD first to start off because you were very like you were ready to talk to me about the monologue. But I was like, no, save it for the pod, save it for the people. So what are your thoughts on the whole SNL monologue?
What I've always thought about Dave Chappelle is that he's a funny guy, and like every time he gets shit on for his jokes and stuff, I think he's completely in the right that comedy is supposed to transcend all of these things that people get all worked up over, and he's a true comedian, and I thought it was just funny.
I agree 100%.
You don't follow politics or culture war stuff as much as maybe him and I do.
Yeah, for sure.
So did you understand what he was talking about with Kanye and
so that I followed things enough to know what's going on, but not enough to let it
you don't get emotionally invested.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you understood why he was making the jokes he was making.
Okay. I understood all the different things he was talking about. I knew what was going on.
Yeah, for me, I we were talking about how much we love the end. I enjoy because
whoever they are.
Yeah. So what I liked about it was that Dave Chappelle, he knows the audience knows the truth, so he's able to play on that. So he acknowledges that. He acknowledges the truths in what Kanye West is saying in using humor, and I appreciate that. Was my favorite part of the whole monologue.
Also, I don't think you could say anything he said was offensive. Can you name one thing he said that would be considered offensive?
I love the fact that the left tried to, and it failed. Like they tried to get him on some cancel shit, and it was just like it didn't work because what he was saying exactly was like he didn't say anything objectively. They try to lean on you can't blame black people, so they circumvented with Jews were never saying that, and we got into a place where it was just now we're in this like weird web of what's what. Who said this and said that? They missed the point completely.
Well, because he had the part where a bunch of a bunch of Italians, it's a mob, a bunch of black people together, it's a gang, a bunch of Jews together, it's a coincidence. He's obviously comparing them to gangs and mobs, so that could be viewed, if you want to be super sensitive, but.
There was the Jewish mafia.
Yeah, and then at the end, when he says whoever they are, is because the entire audience knows that it's the Jews. We're going to cancel.
We're not high enough to be in the radar, but
you know what I do think about though? This is being serious. I do think about how crazy it is that I can't help but be myself. So this is being recorded, lights red, everything's recording. I can't help. I try before I'm gonna confess something. I try like on the way here before we come here thinking like, when you're in the moment, when you're talking, just remember
this is being recorded.
It's being recorded. Not only that, but a future endeavor
may be in jeopardy.
Yeah, or future success could reach a point where enemies could want to look for weapons against me. But I can't help it once I'm in the middle of talking. I can't help but just be myself.
But
the thought is there that
you can't beat when you speak objectively and you speak from truth and you speak on things but you also build your own empire. See, that's what Dave Chappelle did. He built his own empire. You're not held. You can't be held to the fire by the corporate agenda.
Like Clint Eastwood, he's an actor that is able to be openly Republican. He's one of the only actors. Chris Pratt tried a little bit and he got some fire, but he still is somewhat open with being more right leaning. Yeah, but
it's a weird thing. It's not a popular concept to be like an actor who I think that we're living in a time where we're gonna see the shift, where we're gonna start seeing more people shift towards more Republican.
I don't know if it's so much as a shift or that because of the division that's arising, people are having to
make stances.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
they're being forced to now say what they are instead of before they could just be private individuals doing.
Now I have to make a stand because this is the hill I'm going to die on.
So I agree with JD. I think it's going to lean more towards having separate societies and people choosing which society they want to belong to. So do you want to be, blue-haired, non-binary?
Where's Nancy?
Yeah, non-binary, blue-haired, drug addict, homeless in a city, or do you want to be traditional cowboy, hunting for your food, being logical and educated and
on the gang,
objective truth? And I'm not biased at all.
Yeah, I'm like, that was so biased.
Well.
But where's the argument?
Yeah.
In the way it's dividing, where am I?
If not everyone on the left is a blue-haired, non-binary, what else did you say?
They're.
Yeah, but those people on the left that you quote unquote left that aren't like that would then be considered being on the right by the leading thinkers of the left.
There's not enough moderation within the left for me to, in full confidence, align myself with. Now, I'm an atheist, but I would in Republicans have two fucking talking points: gay marriage and abortion. Both of those matters I don't give a fuck about, but they have enough of the same values that I hold, that I'd be like, all right, I don't like those things, but I'd rather stand on this side than the fucking crazy. We're seeing it in real time. The left is getting fucking to the point where you stated earlier, where you have individuals who wouldn't speak politically, like a Joe Rogan. His whole career probably never really took any kind of political stance. Maybe wasn't very forward about his stances, but now I have to, because it's infringing on what I do in life.
If you politicize everything you talk about is politics.
Yeah. Ooh, hit him with a bomb. Damn. That was a serious bomb right there. You heard the quietness after that? That shit had to sink in, man. Mm-hmm. That shit was real. All right. Dave Chappelle monologue was amazing. I think that he said everything right, and you can't cancel the uncancelable.
Yeah, I believe that Dave Chappelle, the reason Dave Chappelle is considered one of the GOATs in comedy is because of his ability to find humor in reality and allow audiences from all walks of life enjoy that humor because it is so grounded in that reality. So I appreciate that skill. Yeah.
Would you say it's satirical? Like it's that satire?
Yeah. He plays both sides. He used some of the realities of Trump. Mm-hmm. But then he also he used some realities of Trump, but then he also lied about Trump just to even it out, by saying it actually turned out he is colluding. There's no way. I remember that. There's no way in objective truth. There's no way you find that conclusion.
Yeah. I agree.
But when he's saying all the things that were true about the debate and the things that Trump said,
he did it with the abortion joke where he was just like, I am pro-life, but it all depends on who I get pregnant. I was like, hey, yeah. Good one, buddy. Dave Chappelle is my all-time favorite comedian. So
would Kevin Hart be second?
No. Kevin Hart probably wouldn't be in my top 5.
Oh, wow.
Gabriel Iglesias.
No? So is it coincidence that you mimic some of Kevin Hart's
I mimic more David Chappelle than I do Kevin Hart.
Fine. Mm-hmm. Valid. But there are some things.
The only thing Kevin Hart got in common is he's short.
So maybe I interpret things more alike. Maybe fine. I'll segue myself out of this one. But
I like Kevin Hart as a person from what he leans into being, you know, positive and being mission oriented, you know, definitely. And he's funny. He's super hilarious. But when you talk about like comedy, I think like Bill Burr would go over him.
I would not say you copy Kevin Hart's jokes. I would say maybe it's coincidence. There are.
And I don't like copy. Just we share.
No, I'm saying you don't. I'm saying you copy some. There are some mannerisms, way of speaking.
I'm colorful because I'm black.
Maybe. So it comes off very similar to Kevin Hart. But it could just be coincidence. That's how
like black people is.
Y'all look alike, yeah.
Whoa. That nigga is racist. Y'all look alike.
They all don't look like Caesar.
Bringing it back. Out of all the topics we have for tonight, one of the things that I kind of said is going to be an interesting challenge for myself. I'm just curious how it's going to go. Is I didn't really ask you about the topic. Usually I do, right?
I mean, this is probably our most free. Like we freestyling right now.
So I usually interrogate audio.
But you said this was your favorite list.
Yeah, but because it was interesting, but I didn't fully understand any topic. So I have my own interpretation of what they mean, but I didn't ask you. For any,
I recall.
Usually I ask you, elaborate on this, elaborate on that, so I can gather my thoughts and be on the same page. So, next on the list. Oh wait, did we let you say your last thoughts on Dave Chappelle?
I had no. Yeah, that was it.
Turn your pain into profit. So the order of things is going to be that you're going to explain the topic and then we'll freeform talk.
Turning pain into profit. It goes into two places, right? One, not being a victim to your pain and suffering, finding a way to harness that pain and suffering into a motivator to go out and say, I ain't gonna live like this no more. That person will never do that to me again because of what I didn't have in terms of resources. But then there's also the concept of, I went and bumped my head, so y'all don't. So I'm going to lead and provide information in the marketplace because of my pain. And I'm going to turn it into profit because I'm going to charge for it.
Anything? Go. Okay, so
everybody's
would this be a fair translation?
Yep. I don't even know.
Would this be a fair translation of turn pain into profit? So that's the number one rule in communication is that you reiterate how you interpret in your own words. Sure exactly. That's how my relationship. That's very good relationship advice.
Active listening.
No,
it's active listening.
I'm not sure if that's the word. If that's the word for it, but the idea, active listening, but the idea of saying what you interpreted to make sure that you're interpreting correctly.
When I'm in the field, I go ahead and say, you want me to do this.
So when you say turn pain into profit, what I interpret from your explanation that you just gave is there are two sides to this, which is turn pain into motivation.
Yep.
And also turn pain into wisdom. Mm-hmm. Combine the motivation and wisdom and find sources of profit.
100%.
Okay.
You can
sounds logical.
You could instead of people going to schools, like I'm into courses, and there's a money grab there, right? It's a new economy, right? You want to learn something, you can go pay $397. Everybody knows $397 is the magical number. That's what everybody charges for their courses. But there's a real value to it. If you can help me, if you can stop me from bumping my head, and I'm a little conflicted by this because there's if you're good at taking information and applying it and not deviating, then by all means. But sometimes, let's be really honest, most people I got to do it my way and bump my head. Do you find yourself to learn the hard way more than?
No, I love learning from other people.
He's the differential.
I love letting. Hey, go try that.
Yeah. But most people you'll find have to learn the hard way. They got to. I'll be in full transparency. I'm the guy that's I'm gonna go bump my head. Unfortunately,
I'm an older sibling, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I
by
definitely.
default.
Thank you for the wisdom.
It's like, don't do that shit no more.
You know, I will say that a lot of my relationship philosophy comes from witnessing other people's relationships and reverse engineering it. I like this aspect, I don't like that aspect, I like this aspect, I don't like that aspect, and I reverse engineer everything and create a philosophy that is how I want my relationships to go. That is, so I didn't have to have 20, 30 relationships to feel very strongly about how I handle my relationships.
Sure.
I have my personal experiences that is limited, and then I am observant of everyone else's.
That's awesome. I mean, it's a very practical way to go about things. If we got good at identifying what we want, because sometimes we're not asking the right questions, or we're not even privy to ask questions. We're just acting in the moment because we don't think further along enough or further down the line. Where am I going with this? I know I'm saying it. But it's a great way to think, you know what I'm saying? You know, to build on what you were saying, if you get good at seeing other people's experiences and defining or discerning what you like about it and what you don't like, you can navigate this thing life with less suffering. There's going to be suffering, but you can do it less.
So you brought up this topic. Is there a specific situation that you can run us through that is an example of this topic? Maybe it inspired this topic.
Pain and profit?
Exactly.
Oh, entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
just entrepreneurship.
So is there a specific thing that you experienced that was painful that either is now motivating you or you learned from it and is going and it now
100%. So I attempted to start a rental car business with no experience in business ever. My education stops in the 10th grade.
Hey, mine too. Oh no. It did. No, it was. It used to be that, and then I continued.
Yeah.
Then okay.
So I say, hey, I saw this on YouTube. Sounds like a good idea. I don't know shit about this. I don't know shit about the marketplace. I don't even understand these words that that I'm saying now. And then I go out and I try it and I over leverage. Didn't know that word. I over leveraged my credit and then it just fucking imploded, but what I take from that was my Harvard tuition. I get to walk away from this and saying, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. This is what I would do. Oh, you know the reason that's not going to work? In 6 months, you can't survive 2 months of a nonprofit. You're forced because of suffering to learn shit that's going to make you successful in the marketplace or in the industry, whatever industry it is. And it's I call it par for the course. Like you have to, like if you don't go through this shit, if you don't fucking fail and you don't fucking go through the hardship, when hardship comes, I'm scared for you, bro. Because can you recreate? Can you do it again? Can you build from zero?
Do you watch it? Do you watch any of the Built America series?
No.
On History Channel? I'm talking. You
have to.
All right.
No.
There's all right. So one of the series is called "The Food That Built America."
Okay.
And they talk about all these different producers of like these big names that you hear now, like Heinz, right?
Right.
You hear their story.
I would love to watch that. I would love to watch that.
He actually went to jail, debtor's jail. He went into debt.
Okay.
And he wasn't being able to pay it off or something like that. And that was the state he was in before he became, Heinz. And
the ketchup.
The ketchup. Dang.
I love those stories, bro. Kentucky Fried Chicken guy.
Oh yeah,
it's just that guy. Yeah, come on, man.
So you're next for a personal example. But I'll give mine so you can think about it. For me, a recent one that I can think of is definitely during the whole recent 99.9% survivable Virus?
This guy.
Hey, I'm trying, for the algorithm, I'm trying not to fuck our shit up.
We gotta find a better name.
We could
You can't say the name?
I mean, you can, but I don't want to take the risk.
You get red flag?
I don't understand the algorithm like he does. So if I can avoid saying words that the algorithm could pick up and say, oh, these people are talking something that we
Can
should.
you say the second half of the word?
It's all theory.
Because we know what you're talking
It's
about.
all theory, but yeah, it's all theory. But I agree. I take the long way.
So
I don't mind.
Okay,
yeah.
99.9% survivable virus. During that whole era, I was forced, not forced, but I took I was injected with experimental fluids.
The jab.
During is the jab fine? Okay, I took the jab.
We took the jab.
In order to keep my job. And that experience, other people, for a lot of reasons that we could do a whole podcast on, would listen to it and think like, okay, it's not that serious. But for me, in my shoes, with what I have in my brain,
And impose on your autonomy.
it's like I said, it's a whole podcast. It's a whole podcast to get into it. But the long story short of it is being in a situation where I had to make a decision of taking the jab for the 99.9% survivable virus in order to keep my job. That the mental pain, it wasn't a physical pain, but the mental pain of going through that decision was extremely motivating and gave me a lot of wisdom. It taught me, it gave me the wisdom to fully understand that, working a 9-to-5 job is a form of modern day slavery where you are owned by your employers. It's a form. We can argue semantics. I'm just saying that angle didn't even exist in my mind to make that connection, to understand the connection between slavery as we understand the word to how it's used, how it still exists in modern times, in different forms.
I think it's more of a miseducation of your value, but you would have to determine your value.
What I'm saying is,
you're trading.
It's one thing to have a common sense conversation where, your employers just see you as property and blah, 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 blah. It's another thing to go through the experience of actually being property of your employers.
If I'm running a business and I have a policy, I in order for my business to operate, if I'm a capitalist, which I assume to be, I have certain protocols that I have to adhere to, because you got to think about liability.
But this was a tyrannical exertion of power. This wasn't a logical, profit-motivated decision to keep the business healthy and running. This was just a tyrannical. I want to feel powerful, and I can control that. These employees about to be.
I disagree.
It's about to be the holidays.
I disagree.
They were hurt financially by making this decision.
I think
they paid to exert this power.
I think that I don't. Right. Yeah.
How what?
How did they pay?
A lot of ways. So they paid in loss of the quality of the service because of the people who decided not to take the jab.
There were people
there were people that did not take the jab. On top of that, they included an incentive program of $1,000 per employee that took the jab. So they had to pay $1,000 to the people that stayed. And they had to lose.
But that was a pressure based on the fact that people were rejecting. So I would have to, if you put it in the sequence that now I have to. It's why you have sign-on bonuses at Dunkin' Donuts. Like I need to.
But the only reason
people to work.
Yeah, but I mean the only reason they went through the trouble was because they were brainwashed by the psyop that was happening on TV. They're of that generation that they still watch the news on TV. They get most of their information from the news on TV and newspaper print.
I would grant them some grace that this is the first pandemic in modern times. We can't expect everybody to have the same amount of information.
I'm not judging why they did what they did. I'm just facing the reality of what they did. I'm not judging why they did it. I'm just facing the reality of what they did. What they did was they are of the generation that gets their information from the TV news, from print, print newspaper, so they are the most susceptible to the psyop that is run on those forms of media. And that psyop worked on them to the degree that they felt that they had to exert the cost to exert the power over the people they could exert that power on, because they couldn't exert it on each other.
Sure.
So,
Go ahead.
do you feel like you sold your soul? Like, you know, you said there were people that didn't take the jab. Like they're
I just think there are different individuals that had different life circumstances and different things going on in their life and different reasons to take it or not take it.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people wanted to take it and they just got an extra bonus that because they were going to take it no matter what. So they just got extra money.
Yeah.
There were people who took it like me reluctantly.
To get into school. I'm gonna give you some grace here. To get into public schools, your child has to get jabbed with a bazillion different vaccines that we did zero education in.
That's not true.
No, I'm talking about me, the person. You as a parent.
No, you as a parent.
You're not learned it in the. This is why I'm taking TV.
Okay, you as a parent, I'm fully versed on all those different vaccines. If I don't have a kid, but if I had a kid tomorrow, I'm fully versed on all those vaccines that you speak of that are mandatory for the kid to go on. I'm fully versed on how many of them have the long-term studies or whatever.
That's where I call the hypocrisy. Not you're the differential, but the hypocrisy in most people who sit there and object to it. Not that I agree, because I actually stand where you stand, but I would like be consistent. When your baby pops out the pussy, this baby's being jabbed with a bunch of different fucking vaccines. Did you ask? Did you prep? Did you talk to your doctor?
But they have a shortcut. They have a shortcut knowing that it's something that's existed for decades.
Sure.
Whereas everyone saw a novel 99.9% survivable virus, and then a novel injection be made for it.
It's easy to talk from, because when you talk about leadership, it's easy to talk from a place of hindsight, but in the heat of the moment.
I was in the heat of the moment, and you
don't remember. Being fair. When we went to Orlando, and you was like, "You guys are going to Orlando?"
No, you guys went to New York.
And you were like,
"No." I mean, if you want to go there on camera, I was arguing with decisions made prior to going to. I was arguing
because we canceled. We canceled the Orlando.
That's my point.
Yeah,
I was arguing with the logic behind canceling the Orlando trip and continuing the New York trip.
Right, yeah. That's fair.
And the excuse that was given made absolute no sense.
Nonsensical.
It was extremely nonsensical. And we're not going to go into details because we're entering from personal to private. So we're not gonna do that. But the point,
talking about my life, man. Don't doing that shit on camera.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Because I don't care about speaking things that are personal, but I do care about speaking things that are private. There's a difference. You know, the difference between personal and private. Yeah,
there's a line.
Yeah, when you go to the bathroom, you do that in private.
Number one is personal. Number two is private.
No, personal is more ideas, and private has to do more with like details. So I'll give my personal ideas, but I won't give details to where like you can start figuring shit out. Yeah, I'm not gonna start giving names.
I know who he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So we don't go on tangent.
No, and that's the thing. Again, because we were talking about turning pain into profit, and it's on record that I was trying to avoid the whole understanding that it would take a whole podcast to argue why I believe what I believe. But the point is that the experience of going through that was extremely motivating and was a supercharge in my wisdom,
which made you,
which I think is going to increase the profit, the overall profit that I make in life.
Yeah, because
it warped my mind. It changed my mindset in a way that I think is going to make me more profitable in the future.
That was the suffering that said, "Oh, I'm getting out of the rat race."
It was. Yes, exactly. It was more of a.
Okay, I was trying to see how it worked.
No, yeah, because essentially, one of my defects is, I don't have that sense of urgency, that sense of time, but that gave it to me.
Like, I'm gonna have to.
That gave it to me. next year a new psyop can be entered into the ecosystem of society, and am I going to have the resources to combat it? Because I didn't have the resources to combat it this go around.
Yeah.
But am I going to get caught flat-footed next go around?
Hell no.
See, I didn't have that. I didn't have that in my mind. I didn't have that in my calculations. I was not going through life with that constantly in the back. So that so that experience woke me up. It woke up that pain, woke up motivation and wisdom that I didn't have prior.
That pain
I'm going to turn into profit.
I like how you went around that. I like how you did that.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to gauge like how old you really are.
Me?
Well, no, I'm
in general?
In general, yeah. Like sometimes I think about it. I'm like, oh wow, I'm really.
This is a tangent.
Yeah.
I was Peter Pan for a long time. The kid that the boy that wouldn't grow up. I buried the 15-year-old me. I'm 36. Going in February, I'll be 36. I buried the 15-year-old me like a year ago.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. But the innocence died. It wasn't that I wasn't doing adult things, but the innocence of life that I was holding on so tightly to, like, oh, my God.
Mine died when I was 12.
Yeah, I'm late to the party, man. And then you realize, like, you don't get to stay here, man.
You hiding in the corners. I warned you.
Yeah, you did, but I couldn't think of one.
What?
I'll try to think of one by the end.
Shut the hell up.
I'll try.
Okay, when did your Peter Pan die?
Oh shit! This is like a conversation y'all had before.
It's dead yet? Oh, like I know I'm growing up, but I still feel like I'm a kid. Like I'm a kid doing adult things.
I love it because that's how I was. Swear to God,
because could that just be if you're that self-aware about it? It could just be who you are. You know, at a certain point, exactly.
I think I'm gonna die being a kid.
Or no, because you're not a kid.
I'm a kid at heart.
I don't know. Because see, if my girl was here, she would be rolling her eyes at me because I do a bunch of shit that is extremely.
You can't be one.
I'm a kid at heart.
So I'm a little extreme. Like I said, I preface this whole conversation. Like when I find something, like I just fucking dive into it, like full heartedly. Like this is all I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be the Navy SEAL about this shit. Like I realize, like, oh shit. 15-year-old me got to tuck him in the bed and you don't get to be him no more. I hope you enjoyed your time. It was fun. Now it's the fight. It's the war. Good men make good times. Good men make
bad times.
Yeah, good
men make good men. Strong men make
good times.
Strong men make good times.
Yeah, strong men make good times.
Good times, unfortunately, make weak men.
Weak men make bad times.
Yes,
and bad times make strong men.
So right? I'm in the cycle, and I said, "Oh shit, I have to."
Exactly. So pain is another way of saying bad times, and where bad times makes good men. Where bad times makes good men, strong men. When bad times make strong men, pain makes profit.
Yeah, because good men, strong men.
Exactly.
But sometimes, but good men. Here's a tangent. Good men it's such a loose
good men
word.
are strong.
No, but sometimes here's a concept. There's a monster in everybody.
Wait.
Okay, yeah.
Is that I'm assuming? Yeah, I'm assuming that's Unleash the Dog. Is that the monster?
This was a different revelation.
But you know what? Let's lighten it up. Because the next topic is hilarious.
Yeah, because we probably just
because the next topic.
Only
I'm 2 inches taller in my bio. And obviously biased towards you. So,
I'm
never lied about my height. I've never lied about my height.
You don't have to.
Wait.
You're fucking
you don't
tall.
have to. So you are 5'11".
I'm 5'11".
So I'm 5'10", right? But here's the thing.
Me too. I'm like a 5'9".
No, you're not. But here's the thing: when you wrote this topic, I was thinking about it. I said, you know what's hilarious? I do have something to add to this because I am not technically 5'10". I am 5'9" and 3/4.
I'm 5'10" and 3/4.
Shut up! Hey, so you're gonna relate to this? Okay, so
I round up.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing.
In math, we round up.
The same psychology that a tiny person would add 2 inches to their bio.
We had that quarter inch.
Get your motherfucking
The same psychology. The same psychology that leads to that is why we would go up a quarter instead of going down to an official number, or to an official number that we actually are. So if I said I'm 5'9", but if I say I'm 5'9", I'm not lying because I am 5'9" and 3/4. When I say I'm 5'10", I'm technically lying. Same thing for you, actually. You're actually 5'10"
and 3/4.
And 3/4. I'm 5'9" and 3/4.
You guys are like really tall compared to, because I thought I was like 5'5", but maybe I'm 5'6".
Your ID says 5'6".
Yeah.
So did you do the same rounding up?
I wrote
so
it.
So you did the same rounding up?
My ID says 5'8".
What? Damn.
That was how tall I was when I was 15. It never changed.
Wow.
But you got an expired license?
No, they just never updated the
Okay.
That is so funny. So
let me give you.
Yeah.
This is what happened. I'm in the marketplace, and I noticed that certain bios, it'd be like, if you ain't 5'8" or higher, swipe left, and I'd be like, yo, bitch, you just disqualified me because of my height.
5'8" is average.
Yeah, I'm like 5'7" and a half.
You're 5'5" to 5'6".
Yeah, all right, whatever.
But you know what they say, if girls can say that on their bio, then guys
No. But so when you saw that in those bios,
I knew that one thing that I never paid attention to was height. And because I had no need to be privy of what was valuable in the marketplace. So in the marketplace, I realized that height played a big fucking factor. And I was just like, I've been a short nigga all my life.
But did you actually change your bio to be 2 inches taller?
Yeah.
What's your bio say?
It says I'm 5'7".
Okay. because
if you wear heels, they're not gonna know it.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, and
it depends on how much water I drink, because sometimes I get taller.
I had my spiel. My only connection to it is the fact that from 5'9" and 3/4, I say I'm 5'10", and I always tell people I'm 5'10". But more deeply, what I want to get into with that idea is 2 things. First, why would you want to date a girl, to be with someone that has that thing? And 2, why lie about something that
they're gonna find out?
Exactly, they're gonna find out, because my brain can't understand that lie.
I have an answer for the second one. Is because if they meet you in real life,
they're gonna find out that, wow, he's really funny.
It might not matter.
Okay. No, fair enough.
It gets you in the door. Why do you lie on your resume? To get you in the door.
That was a bomb. Hey, give him a bomb.
I did.
Give him a bomb. No, the resume. Yeah, that was a good one.
The mic.
I'm in the mic.
You get excited.
That was a good one.
The thing is, this Red Solo Talk, where we record conversations that would be happening anyway.
This was our hangout.
But when you're not professional, you don't got the mic discipline, which you get over time. But there we go. You just gotta. We're hanging out, we're talking, but you just gotta be conscious of it, and you could listen. Anyways. But one of the things, that is a very good point that I didn't think of, which is why you're here and why you're a bomb ass guest. But
John be coming with the swoops.
But that does tie into what I did want to touch on. Do you agree with the idea that your height being below average can be
detrimental?
No, can be counteracted by having the other. So I consider everyone's value as a man, whatever, as like an equalizer board, like this here. Like
yeah.
So you have finances, personality. Yeah. You have money. You have finances, personality.
You have criteria.
Fitness level, social status, blah 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 blah. And if your physical height is too low, you just have to make sure the other ones
you got to get
are above average. So if you're below average in height,
kneecaps.
So you're below average in height. So you have to be above average enough in all the other attributes that it evens it out and undoes.
If you make a lot of money, a girl's gonna be like, he's short.
Yes, but
he makes a lot of money.
But if you don't make a lot of money, and you just make a lot of money, but you're also very fit, or if you don't make a lot of money, but you're only a little fit, but you know how to defend yourself, so that gives you confidence, and you're very social, and you know how to handle yourself. So there's other things that can give you points that can override.
What's the name of the guy? Jordan Belfort.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. He's not a very tall guy.
That's my point. Yeah, but he was very wealthy.
You're right.
Yeah, but
Hart's not tall.
But where
it's funny as hell.
But credit to the point you made is
and successful.
If you keep that in mind and you have your other attributes above average to counteract what's below average, then that lie, because see, I came into here disagreeing with lying, but you bring up a point that I can't argue where maybe it's worth lying about, because when you have your other attributes counteracting it, you get your foot in the door.
You give them an opportunity
to see the other attributes.
To see like
that one doesn't matter. That one really doesn't matter. It does not matter how tall someone is.
Bitch, I'm catfishing you.
And not only that, but if you're staying true to what you desire, which is a submissive girl, a submissive feminine partner, you're gonna have to mold and train her. So you might find your submissive feminine partner out there might have that negative aspect of her where she cares about the height, but you can mold that out.
I'll be honest,
by teaching her that the height doesn't matter.
I've had in my most recent experience in the marketplace, the girls were taller than me. I haven't dated, but I've had suitors. Look at me being a debutante. I've had suitors that were taller than me that made more money than me, and they were just like, "Oh, that's a little photographer, bae." You know, and I was just like, "Oh shit, bitch, you taller than me." You know, and you got more money than me. Where I realized that my confidence in the room made me. Which is the problem with social, like dating and dating apps, because you don't get to deal with the person in real life. Because most of the time when I deal with people in real life, I'm batting women off. You know, like I've turned down more women in my singleness than I probably have in all my life. Like now. That's not a brag. I'm not a braggart, but I'm very confident in like, women is not a problem for me.
If you have to turn them all down and you're not finding the ones that you don't have to turn down, it's still a problem.
Well, no, it's not even that.
If you're turning down, if you're finding a lot of girls that you don't want to turn down, then that's like something to be like.
So let me clarify. I thought about this. I was like, do I have commitment issues? Because I've had some great options, right? And I was like, I'm in Navy SEAL mode. Remember, I prefaced this conversation where I was just like, we find it's very small. I'm in the mode where like I'm in Tyrone building, right? You know, I can't give a woman what she wants right now. I'm so dialed into like being the best version of me. I can't give you what you want.
But they don't know what they want. They don't know what they want.
Most of them don't. And I'm okay with that. That's irregardless for me, because right now my suffering is at the end of 2021 was probably the worst time of my life. I lost 3 family members back to back in 3 months. My company went bankrupt. My credit went belly up. All my savings was fucking wiped out. I was down. Y'all probably haven't had this experience in a long time. I was having overdraft fees. I was at the bottom of the bottom. I pulled my motherfucking self out the fucking bottom. Bitch.
How we here?
Started from the you don't get to where I'm at, and I'm not even where I want to be by far. But I know that I have the dexterity, the tenacity to pull myself out of that shit. Like, bitch, I don't lie about my fucking height. But when you find out who I am, I'm of value to you. At the end of the day, what you gonna bring to the table? So, yes, I lie about my height a little bit.
You lie about your height, but I shout out to JD. You lie about the height, but you.
And I will say, I don't lie about my height. I've lied about my height.
So what's your bio say on all your?
I'm 5'6".
No, the thing is, I agree with JD. Your bio could be 5'8".
No, I'm 5'6".
I'm saying, but put your bio.
But in real life, I'm 5'6".
You're 5'5".
I mean, you can't say you're 6 foot because that's gonna be
exactly.
Obvious.
But
you could add an inch or two.
Put a tape measure next to my body.
You kind of already. It's already on camera where you kind of outed yourself as being 5'5" and something.
If they could say 1 or 2 people less, you could say 1 or 2 inches more.
I think I'm 5'6".
All right, fine. So 5'6". What'd you say?
I said if they can say 1 or 2 people less, you can say 1 or 2 inches more.
Ah, that's a good one.
John just bit. Man, fuck that. Yeah.
So
I'm with him.
A little white lie is okay if the big picture is still in play.
I need to get you out of your own biases. Like
they shouldn't ask you how tall you are. They should ask for a range. Like, give me the range that you're in, and then you give them like a 5-inch range.
And if they can't get over your height, they have to learn to let it go.
You don't want to be with that person.
Or go find this 6.2 6-figure earner that decided he wants to be monogamous only to you. So you found the 1%. You found the Adonis of 1% people, and okay, good.
And then you wake up.
Good luck, bitch.
Exactly. Let those dreams go. You have to learn to let it go.
I picked you, bitch, and you're not my first pick.
Because the next topic is learning to let go. So what did you mean by learning to let go?
Okay, great. You have to harness the power of pain, but you also have to learn to let it go. Like, right, letting it go, meaning like, what could I did different? What could I did to change this? That don't matter no more. It happened. It's over. Relationships, life, work, career. Only thing you need to be focused on is pivoting towards a resolution. That shit happened. It's gone. It's done. You fucked up. You failed. The faster you get at understanding that you failed, the faster you can get to resolution. And pivoting. Yeah.
Nah, you go.
I'm third mic.
You ain't lying. Nah, so, I can't relate to the topic as far as needing to let go, but what I can relate to the topic is what you're describing to me. The only thing that keeps repeating in my mind is that is how I interpret being a stoic.
Stoic, yeah.
When I say I'm a stoic, I truly embody that. My operating system is that of a stoic. I automatically let things go, both positive and negative, because the whole point of being a stoic is understanding there's good and there's bad. So when something bad is happening, let it go, because good things are coming. And when good things happen, also let it go because get ready because bad things are coming. And you keep going through life. And to me, there's more benefit than negative because also I can control my own bias. So I'm a stoic, but I'm biased in when things are positive, I'll allow myself to enjoy a little bit more. I enjoy positives more than I allow myself to feel defeated in the negative.
Yeah. Okay. 100%. Hit that bomb, nigga. Hit that bomb, nigga. So I let it all go. Yeah. Because you only have the present. You can't control anything. You can't control that's not what I meant. You cannot control the things you can't control. So you don't know what's gonna happen in the future. You don't know the complete, which is how we get into our Sultan parable, the Chinese farmer parable. You don't actually know the future consequences of the present things that you're considering, that you are judging in the moment. When you judge something negative in the moment, or you judge something positive in the moment, you don't actually know what the consequences of those moments are. So that has to always keep you maintained in a humble state where I'm just always letting things go. Even the whole jab stuff. Which will segue us into unleashing the dog.
Well, harnessing your anger and unleash the dog. What did you mean by that?
Which is what we were kind of talking about with suffering.
Rewind.
So we'll
You never went.
I don't have to go every time. I can always come back to it.
So learning to let go, you don't got nothing, no?
I let that go already.
Good.
This nigga is a pro.
Yeah. I think JD did some public. He had like a publicist give him training before his first on-camera
media
appearance.
training.
You ain't lying.
This nigga smooth, baby.
You did some media training before your first camera appearance. Okay, so what did you mean by unleash? All right, so harnessing your anger.
This
and
part of the show is very important to me. I take it to heart. Let me get. This nigga just literally signed his resignation today. You gotta unleash the dog, guys. Let me explain what that means. Unleash the dog. Inside of you, there's this primordial, just this. When we wrestled, I kept alluding to it. Like there's this real life testosterone, like just fucking visceral version of yourself, the monster. You need to learn how to harness the monster. You don't let the monster it's the Hulk kind of story arc, right? It's so powerful, so full of just full rage. If you learn how to harness that full rage and you employ it into what you're doing in your life, there's nothing that you can't do. And I don't want to speak in happy feelings because this comes from a place of pain. This comes from a place of suffering. Harness it. Unleash the dog. There's a dog in every man. It's that I ain't finna fucking take this shit no more. I'm finna wake up tomorrow. All this shit finna be different. Remember, I texted you the other day. I said I'm finna burn the world down. Something to that dude. I'm paraphrasing. And he was just like killing with kindness. It was like, I'm not looking for kindness.
Yeah, no. You said you're gonna make them. You're gonna make them.
I'm gonna make them pay.
Mark my words.
Marks my words. Because that type of talk, it's when you ever seen people in.
I said kill them with kindness.
If I'm let me tell you why I differ. It's the Super Bowl. We're in it's halftime. We're inside that room where we're training.
Locker room.
That's what they call it.
Of the team that's losing or the team that's winning?
Fuck it.
It changes.
Whatever it is.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
Depends on how bad you're winning or how bad you're
And my coach,
not if I'm coach.
and my coach tells me, and I tell my coach, I'm gonna make them fucking pay. And my coach says, kill him with kindness. I'm looking at my coach like, that ain't what I need to hear right now. I'm on fucking savage mode. There's a time to turn it off and on, I agree. But there's a time when you need to be the fucking savage.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But let me defend myself.
Context.
Exactly context. So let me defend myself. Now, I don't think the long-term strategy is to be motivated by negativity or be motivated by causing harm to others. I believe that long-term motivation. Let me.
It's not harm. It's not harm.
Let me get cooking.
It's satirical.
No, I know, but let me get cooking.
Or not satirical. It's what's the word? When you talk, it's frivolous. When I say what I'm saying.
No, but there's truth to every joke. So my point is, when I say kill him with kindness, what I mean by that is your overall what is the majority of the makeup of the conversation happening in your head should be positive, should be more narcissistic, in my opinion, where you're doing things for yourself and not necessarily because I want them to pay. Now, if you go through something that you have a short-term burst of energy due to something negative that you're going to then use that pain for the motivation side of things,
then pain into profit.
By all means, use it. Because I'm biased and not currently feeling anger towards anything, I don't have the motivation. I don't have any motivation from, I'm gonna make them pay. Now, if you have something that's making you feel like I gotta make them pay, that's your prerogative. I'm just saying that I don't think that is a healthy long-term overall source of motivation.
It's like keto or any other diet.
Exactly.
It's not like this is what you need to fucking amp yourself up.
Exactly.
And be like, fuck no.
So in the moment that I had to,
I'm the steroid shot.
In the moment that I had to go through the whole jab thing that we touched on, in that moment I would have been, exactly. I'm gonna mark my words. Why? I'm gonna, but that's not the healthy mindset to have in general.
Well, not necessarily.
You gotta let it go.
Exactly.
So basically, nothing we talked about makes any sense.
No, it all makes perfect sense.
Depending on the sequences of what you apply it.
Exactly. No, it's all nuance and context. That's why it's a long form conversation.
So there's times where what I would say would apply to be truthful.
Like the halftime. Because the halftime, you just had an experience. For 2 quarters, you got your ass whooped. Yeah, if I'm that coach, I ain't gonna be like kill him with kindness. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna say unleash that dog. And to get to what I was trying to say to JD, if my team's winning, I'm gonna talk about the other team. I'm gonna tell them, hey, good, you guys did a good job. Be proud of yourselves. Just remember when you walk out that tunnel, what conversation is the other team having right now? And I'm just gonna use their motivation and give it to my team. So either way. So yeah. So.
Expound.
No more.
Okay.
He's just blessing us with eye candy. I don't know, but
we had the last 10 minutes, so
I know we could milk this. We could milk this a little bit. So harness your anger and unleash the dog. So we could milk this out. We could
okay.
That's out a little bit. So because we're kind of disagreeing, so we might as well flesh this out.
I think that we believe what we're saying in tandem. It's just that. So you're thinking more long term, where I'm saying.
So you're currently in a place of like anger.
Well, my philosophy is to harness suffering and harness anger, harness pain.
So you're currently in a state of suffering.
Life is tragedy.
Yeah.
Because you're in the constant state of dying.
But So that's actually no. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Because that's actually something I was coincidentally thinking about earlier today. Where I
just learned to harness.
You know what? Maybe I can see what you're coming where you're coming with this, because earlier today I was having this conversation with myself in my mind where I was contemplating.
Hit my bomb.
I was contemplating that we have to be conscious of the balance between your discomfort with your current position, which is what leads to growth. So a part of you should always feel somewhat should always feel some discomfort.
Some individuals
where of your current situation, because that's what motivates you to want to progress. But a part of you needs to be content with your current self so that you can enjoy the moment. And that balance I
think there's the honesty you have to have with yourself, which is your pain index. We look at Elon Musk, we look at Jay-Z, we look at the greats, we look at people who done Jeff Bezos. Your pain index determines on whether you need to have a real talk with yourself, and whether you're going to be disciplined enough, whether you're willing to hurt enough, are you willing to lose enough, are you willing to be sad enough, are you willing to sit in a corner and not have it for several years and just say fuck it. At that moment, you decide, I'm going to go for this place up here. Otherwise, you could bullshit yourself. But I'm going to tell you what's going to come with getting to those places. It don't come with nothing happy. It doesn't come... That level of success comes with fucking pain and suffering. If you accept it, that's a contract you made with yourself. I'm going to get there, but I'm going to lose everything that I thought I wanted. Or maybe I did want it. But I said, I hold this priority, and that's the contract. And you don't deviate from the contract. I'm not here to lie to you. You're going to give up a lot. You're going to suffer. It's going to be uncomfortable. But on the other side is everything. What are you going to do?
I agree. I noticed this in a lot of people where, they say ignorance is bliss, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
in the Matrix.
But what's something that we've talked about a lot, off camera, on camera? Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Ignorance is bliss is absolutely true, and we could sit here and go through a bunch of examples where ignorance is bliss. But ignorance is also the opposite of bliss. Ignorance is also painful. So I see a lot of people have this idea. People live how they're living, think how they think, and then they have this idea of how they want to be, how they want to think, but they're ignorant of what it actually takes to obtain those things, be that.
Lean into the suffering, bro.
What do you mean?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But so a lot of people, they're ignorant to what it actually takes, and that ignorance can cause pain, though. And that ignorance can cause a pain that you can't.
That's not accountability.
Turn into profit.
That's not being.
It's a lack of self-awareness,
right?
Because you lack the knowledge to be self-aware. It's my point exactly. You're ignorant to what it actually takes. So, I want to be a multi-millionaire with supercars.
We're saying the same thing.
And private plane, whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't want to live the lifestyle that it takes to obtain those things.
100 hours a week.
Exactly. So you're ignorant to the, so the same people who want private planes, yachts, supercars, and millions of dollars in the bank are the same people that want to be on a private island, hanging out just in a hammock with palm fronds being waved at them, drinking their cocktail with an umbrella in mojitos, whatever. And those two things don't match. You actually can't have that comfort.
You want the result without the actual problem
that goes into it.
Yeah, that it took for me to figure out the equation that it took to get to the fucking the that's not how this shit works.
Exactly. And if people targeted I'm assuming everyone has internal conversations. Like
everybody talks to himself.
Yeah, which is what thinking is, which is what being conscious is.
The whole,
I don't actually, I don't fully understand what it means for other people to be conscious. Like, I understand that there are people who are conscious the way birds are conscious. Like, there are human beings that are conscious the way ants are conscious, or flies,
but
or
it's like predisposed instinct, right?
Like their consciousness is very,
it's rudimentary.
When I think of people saying NPCs, right? Oh, they're NPCs. Okay, but what does that actually mean?
But I love that topic. I mean, I love that point. You said it the other day, and I was just like, that's exactly what it is. They've only reached a level of artificial intelligence that this is your programming. This is all you do. You've accepted the programming.
Yeah.
I live outside the program because I'm a programmer.
Exactly. And you're programming your own mind. Programmer? Any
I'm an NPC.
You think so? You would. Wait. Truth to every joke.
True. Yeah.
You agree. Well, this is a very interesting conversation because you're one of the few people that exist on Earth. This is a very interesting conversation because you're one of the few people that exist on Earth that is above average intellect.
Intelligence. To know.
No. Just intelligence in the literal sense. Just ability to think.
What was emotional? Because it was emotionally intelligent for him to say.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Because knowledgeable is two different things. He's very knowledgeable on things that I find useless. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about ability to think. You see, you have an ability to think that is extremely rare, that I've come to learn how rare it is. So you then joke and say you're an NPC, but you're having conversations with yourself. I'm assuming, like that's
for him to even get to
conscious
the point,
existence.
For him to even get to the point where he made a discernment that I'm an NPC, he had a conversation with himself.
I'm just saying in general,
I enjoy the ignorance sometimes.
I think everyone has a conversation with themselves.
It's conscious.
I'm completely conscious about it.
Yeah.
Yes, but
sometimes the ignorance is bliss, and I want to feel the bliss.
Yeah. Sometimes I want to eat the steak.
Yeah. But I wonder how much pain is caused by experiencing the bliss. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that when people say ignorance is bliss.
That's a good question.
When people think ignorance is bliss, like how much pain, how much short-term bliss causes long-term pain?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Because you think about it. You don't know what you don't know. If you didn't know, then you're just a fucking pig in a farm. But what if you knew?
Exactly.
You were going to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what happened to us. I blame mushrooms.
We know the Jews control us. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is where it got canceled.
What is Chappelle reading? You gotta read that thing again.
You ain't lying.
Buy yourself some time.
Buy yourself some time. No, that that was just a little 1 hour and 27 minute
the disclaimer is this show is not predicated on any truths. This show is predicated on jokes, opinions of various individuals who decided to.
Yeah. If you cannot tell that was a joke,
satire,
then you're not a serious thinker anyway, so I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I'm being serious.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm with you. Hey, look.
It's a filter. It's a natural filter.
When I text you, I was like, I'm ready to set the world on fire. I admit the thing is, I'm at a point, I had a pivotal moment where I decided that I'm all in, bro.
Oh, so that's what I want to touch on. Harnessing your anger and unleash the dog. I like to interpret things in my own way, right? And I want to. When I hear that, I interpret it in the similarities it has to my way of thinking, and so that I'm going to share my way, and then you tell me where it differs. So I give the concept of the 6 gears.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up. It was like, what percentage do we think that we're operating on?
So I have this thing of 6 gears, right? Everyone has 6 gears, and how many gears you activate is what dictates what amount of your max potential you reach. So when I hear harnessing your anger and unleash the dog, I interpret that as when a life experience reminds you that you're not where you want to be, increase the gears you have activated. That's what I hear. And my goal is to just have as many gears activated all the time without needing negative stimuli. But that's a separate conversation. But my point is that, am I on the right track of are we talking about the same mechanisms? When you say unleash a dog and I say activate your gears, is that the same?
In layman, it's more so there's a...
Because when you say unleash the dog, right? What is being unleashed onto the world before you unleash the dog? What is you're still waking up, eating, pooping, sleeping, and you know what I'm saying? Like you're still going through life,
right,
with a dog not unleashed.
Yeah, so
the dog is leashed. What does that look like?
It's not literal. It's more colloquial. When you unleash the dog, the fighting the dog.
I guess what I'm asking is, is unleashing the dog similar to activating more gears?
It's just the same thing. It's semantics. It's just we're saying it in different ways, but different analogies where you wake up the fight in you. We're operating because of a lack of suffering. We're operating from a very comfortable space. It's easy for me to sit here. It's easy for you to sit there from your high throne and say, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. This is how you should be. But take the immigrant that comes here who don't got shit and runs circles around us. That's the dog. I'm gonna die if I don't fucking
activate
do it.
Those gears.
Exactly.
Yeah. You guys are on the same page.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I think again, it comes down to harnessing your anger. To me, it has a negative connotation versus.
Well, take the immigrant as a perfect reference. They
might not necessarily be angry with their circumstance. They might just be wise.
It's pressure. It's pressure. I circumvent to say. I said suffering is a pressure.
Yes.
I said an evolution. I watched immigrants and I said, they're pressured to do it. They got no fucking choice. We have too many choices. But if you didn't have so many choices, goes back to the saying, strong men make
good times. If you didn't have all those good times, if you didn't have Netflix, you know what? I don't find nothing on Netflix I want to watch. Let me go on Hulu. I don't got nothing on Hulu. Let me go on Disney Plus. I don't got nothing on Disney Plus I want to watch. Let me go on YouTube. I don't got nothing on YouTube. Let me go on TikTok. Let me go on this.
And when no one has it, JD has it.
Hey. But it's true. You have so many distractions.
You would operate from a sense of urgency in real time. If I don't fucking do this, I don't eat. I don't got a place to play. I gotta come to work today. I'm sick. Doesn't matter. I gotta pay the bills. That thing.
You know, I have a thing in my brain. I cannot, and I have not for the last 20 years. I have never held a job and received a check that was less than 40 hours. So what I mean to say by that is like that I hold a job that is full time, that I'm scheduled to, that I can bring in the income of 40 hours, that I'm going to work less. My brain doesn't allow me to do that. My brain forces me that I have to hit the 40 hours. It stops me from, because then I meet people who are kind of distracted by life, and they'll sit there and say, oh, you know what, I got to do this, or I feel like doing that, and they're not consciously thinking of the long-term effect of less income. See, but because I have to see 40 hours a week minimum, it automatically stops me from making those poor choices that I see other people make when they hold 9 to 5s.
Ultimately, that's just circumvent. This is what I mean with when it comes to suffering, and when it comes to us becoming the dog. Everything ties in. Maybe not in the wrong sequences of the topics, but this is. I had this revelation, and I'm like, you pampered fuck. You don't get to complain. So I'm on this journey like to torture myself. Yeah. Not to be pessimistic or morbid or something, or masochist. I'm just like, you have to go and learn the worries of the world, the realities of the world. You have to wear it. You got to get the whips in the back and say, because only then will you raise to the pressures create evolution. Evolutionary pressure, environmental pressures make things grow to understand the environment, and that's the whole goal.
Yeah. You know, I'll be more candid too with the point I'm making. What did I learn from the anger? What did I unleash from the anger of my situation that allowed me to turn pain into, I'm going to connect profit. Yeah. So, you know, what dog did I unleash harnessing the anger that I had from the situation that allowed me to turn pain into profit? You know, the situation that I already like. I'm just having fun now. but you know, I'll be honest. So I didn't realize until that moment, I didn't realize the amount of gears I had activated while I was at work. And I never consciously noticed the amount of gears I turned off once I completed, like, okay, I'm more productive than most people. I woke up early. I did a full productive day at work. And now I have this amount of time before I go to sleep and do it all over again. So that amount of time, right? How many gears did I have activated while I was at work fulfilling other people's dreams? And then I'm awake and I'm asleep. And when I'm awake, I dedicate some hours to a 9 to 5 job, and I have other hours that are dedicated to whatever the fuck I want it to be, right? During the entirety of being awake, though, I have the same 6 gears. I have the same dog that I'm going to unleash or not. And I didn't realize until that moment of how much I put the dog in the cage, or how many gears I shut off once I completed my job. Because when you clock in and clock out and you do the psyop that was taught to you by the whole Rockefeller, I don't know if it was Rockefeller or Rothschild that started the whole public school system, other podcast. Yeah, but you know, you get dropped off at school I even said work by accident. You get dropped off at school at a certain time. You get picked up, bells ring. You get picked up at a certain time, lunchtime. It's training you to work a 9 to 5. Public school trains you to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's
what it's designed to do. Yeah. And I didn't realize how much of that psyop brainwashing was working in me just naturally until that moment happened. So now I'm more conscious of when I clock out at work, I'm clocking into life, real life. Work is not real life. Outside of work is real life. Work is temporary because I'm not in a place where
That's how you make your bread and butter.
Exactly. So work is temporary. I'm not in a place where I am my own employer.
You either get smart about how you make your money.
Exactly.
Or.
So now and then you learn about quiet quitting. Do you know what quiet quitting is?
Oh, yeah. Never heard that.
Well, that's for OnlyFans. Red Solo Talk. We are on. We have an after hours edition of Red Solo Talk. No, that's not why. It's because I'm not going to continue what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Red Solo Talk after hours. It's not YouTube safe, but it's paywall safe. So check us out on OnlyFans. Link down below.
That's right. On OnlyFans, I'll take my shirt off.
Yeah, you will see nipples, possibly. It hasn't happened yet, but you will see a nipple eventually.
I've been doing push-ups.
I have not.
And so I'll get into more details about what we were just talking about on OnlyFans.
I promise y'all, at the end of the show, I deemed you Big John.
That's the name you wanted? Big John?
Big John.
No, but we're not there yet. We still got time. But, and we still got topics. No, but damn, what was I saying before I started talking about the
I'm thinking.
You don't got it?
Because Big John sound gangster.
Anyway, it'll be on After Hours edition. So we have...
Oh, it's quiet quitting.
Oh yeah, it's quiet quitting. We'll talk about what quiet quitting is, but the point is that I'm gonna make for this topic, and we'll get into quiet quitting and what I mean by that more specifically in the after hours. But for this, what I will say is, what I am currently conscious of is, I have this habit now that whenever I drive home, I consciously run through the idea that now is where my life begins. Like now, like what all the hours that I just spent at work was pretend. That was just unfortunate loss of life.
It's like being asleep.
It's exactly. I just slept that long, and now I'm actually awake and alive, and I'm conscious of, okay, how many gears do I have activated? Where's my energy level at?
Have you ever tapped into the highest degree? And if so, what was that moment?
But what do you mean by
that? So if you put it on a spectrum, what's the highest degree? What's the highest gear? 6?
Yeah, I just
okay. Cool.
That's arbitrary, but yes.
Do you remember a time when you tapped into that degree or gear? So you have a point of reference of when you knew you were working at your highest potential. Have you ever got to your highest potential?
Okay, that's a good question. So your highest potential, I don't think that's, I think these are concepts that are not necessarily meant to be attained. It's meant to, these are things that are meant to be reached for but never grabbed.
Like shoot for the stars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not really. Yeah. So
it sounds good.
Yeah, as far as reason, but when you say activate all the gears,
it has a practical.
I will say you only know it in hindsight. So I can recognize in hindsight, I could have done this better or this differently. But in the moment...
I disagree. Mm-hmm. There's times where we operate in a flow state.
Okay.
And I think flow state is when you're...
your 6 years?
Is your 6 years. Agreed? Flow state is your 6 years?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. But my point is then this. I could be in my 6 gears and for, 60, I could be in a flow state for 60, 70% of my day. And then in hindsight recognize, there was 30% of my day that I wasn't in flow state.
And for the people that don't know what flow state means,
that's like Olympic
So
standards of just operation.
So flow state is
for me.
Yeah,
subjectively.
So I'm gonna get sexy with it.
Yeah.
Flow state is you have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Flow state is when they kind of bridge together, and your conscious and subconscious mind are kind of working together for like just maximum efficiency or productivity. It's
almost like you don't have to. You're just doing.
It's usually for specific tasks. So flow state would be like, you're in a basketball game. And you get, I have friends I have a friend, shout out, you know who you are. We have a joke where I become a fairy. And the joke is that whenever I'm playing pool, there are moments where I get into the flow state.
In programming, you're in the zone.
In the zone. No. That is the flow state. That is flow state.
I didn't know.
Exactly. So there are moments where I'm just like in the zone. I'm just like, I'm calculating the geometry of what I want the billiard balls to do, and it's happening in a row, and I'm getting 2, 3, 4 shots happening, and then I start walking around the table differently. So my friend, shout out to you. My friend, he calls it becoming a fairy. So I recognize it now, where I do, like, I kind of walk around more focused, I'm more efficient. I'm just trying to get to my next shot.
Your confidence comes up.
Your confidence goes up. Your focus, your tunnel vision.
But that's a gear.
Yeah.
What if you can operate that gear on call all the time?
I think you can. It's just whether you want to or not. And a lot of people don't want to. Exactly.
Discipline.
It's not even discipline. It's self-awareness. It's just that's where I was speaking on. People have an idea of what they want to be, but they're ignorant to what it actually takes to be that person, and they assume that they actually want to be that person. But if you weren't ignorant to what it actually takes to be that person, then maybe you would choose differently.
So it circumvents back to being the dog.
Exactly.
You got to come something outside of your actual nature.
And one of the things that happens when you don't succeed, or when you don't have all your gears activated, you can end up in a very, 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 very sad place. So sad, in fact, that even as men, you might cry. Which, makes me wonder.
What you mean?
What do you mean? I was just trying to segue.
Oh, yeah. Last time I cried. Yo, last time I cried. Last topic. We're going to make this very brief.
We don't have to. We got time.
Nah, we got to reel it in. Because, nigga, you ain't got to do the post-editing. I do.
But the goal is 2 hours.
Yeah, but I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So last cry, everybody put it on the table. Was it Soul by Pixar? All right, cool.
When was the last time you cried?
Soul by Pixar. You just said it.
No. I cried 2-3 weeks ago. Had just a breakdown like anybody else.
Wait. I don't know what that means. But like, what do you mean by cry? Like,
I don't cry like that, but I cry more so like there's holes in my walls in this studio.
But tears came out.
Yeah, tears of anger, harnessing the dog. Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Wow. Yeah. We it's on the other side of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I made sure to be. I was conscious enough. Like, I'm not gonna punch up my studio, but I'm gonna punch the outside of the studio, where it was a matter of the pressures of society said, hey, little boy, you gotta grow up. You gotta be this guy. You need to be this guy in this way, and. My innocence died. I like to say that I cry because I mourn the innocence that I was letting go. I was no longer going to be 50. As where I stand today, I'm not 15-year-old little Ty. I'm Jack Sparrow. I'm just.
Do you want to give more detail as to why you cry? Because I have no idea.
Life. I mean, I lost three family members I had a company that went bankrupt. My credit blew up. I had a 7-year relationship that failed.
So it was literally like a build up.
My whole world collapsed on itself.
So it was kind of like the release valve.
It was a decision was either you're gonna fucking die or you're gonna get up, awaken the dog.
So that was kind of like, so the last time you cried, if I'm not mistaken, the last time you cried was a few weeks ago when you manifested the idea of harnessing your anger and unleashing the dog.
That's where this whole topic.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So in order to harness that anger, part of harnessing that anger was utilizing the mechanism of crying to kind of get one moment of release. Oh, is that what you're saying? I'm assuming
it's inherent. You have to release. It's a release valve.
Yes?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
It was incumbent on that. Like, I'm not gonna live like this.
That makes sense. And the last time,
I would never feel this way again.
Last time you cried?
Oh, mine's embarrassing. I cry on certain shows and stuff. So I was watching Lego Masters, and the team was being let go.
You cried because they were being let go?
It was sad.
But tear came out?
They started crying.
Tear came out?
They started tearing up, so I teared up.
Like real tears?
Yeah, real tears. Like I get I start feeling for them. Like
empathetically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so fascinating. Because
I get really into what I'm watching.
So last time I cried, I find myself crying more as I get older. But something very interesting is that, because you're kind of like the opposite of me, I only cry tears of joy. So I cry at happy, triumph,
dogs,
triumph, success.
Oh, no, yeah, same here.
Triumph, but anything negative. No, but anything negative, like loss. If someone gets their ass whooped in UFC, for example, right?
Oh, I'm not gonna cry.
I don't cry.
Nah.
Right? Or someone gets let go in a competition, I don't cry. But when a winner gets emotional and they start talking about what they went through, see, I'm getting goosebumps. What they went through to whatever. When I watch movies like Men of Honor, Remember the Titans, Pursuit of Happiness. When I watch 10 minutes.
Oh, I gotta pee.
Oh, you can go pee. You can pee. Right through those doors. Pee real quick, and then when you come back, it'll be in time to end it. This is interesting.
Yeah.
If you just go straight, you're gonna see a toilet. Don't stop going straight until you pee. But when I see triumph, success, I can't help it. I tear like a baby. When I see pain, failure, sad things, I don't give a fuck. And I think, touching onto what I spoke on earlier, I think it has something to do with my conscious mind having that stoic bias that I mentioned earlier, where I'm biased in allowing myself to feel more positive emotions and let go of negative emotion. I think that that's not a coincidence. I'm just making this realization live right now. That has to tie into.
It's a constant balance, you know.
But I'm saying I don't think that's coincidence. I'm realizing right now in the moment, I don't think that's coincidence. I think I think part of why I cry so easily when there's triumph, success, positive emotions makes me tear up, and negative emotions and sad things, painful things, I'm stoic about. I think it's also because my literal philosophical compass is
psychologically it's easy for me. It was just like I from the moment I was born into being a boy. This is why it's so important to make determinations in terms of pronouns. What it means to be a boy. Based on the context that I grew up was, you had to be tough.
Agreed.
Hey, little boy. You know, that's not worth crying for.
Agreed.
I carried that trauma with me.
What trauma?
Well,
the trauma. Okay.
Yeah. You know, so all right. So yeah, if you want to define it as trauma, but the concept of holding back emotion but this goes into stoicism, being stoic, so there's an art.
But you know what's funny you said that? My girl don't know this, but if I'm watching a movie with my Yorkie, right? And one of those moments come of triumph and success, I'll let my eyes bawl out. Like I'll just let the tears fall. But if I'm watching the same movie with my girl or another movie with my girl and triumph and success makes my eyes watery, I actively try to hide it from her.
For sure.
And even though I'm saying it right now,
I was watching Black Panther.
Tomorrow we could watch a movie. It's something that happens naturally where I try to hide it from her.
It could be masculinity. It could be something. I mean, for me.
So you were being serious? You said you cried 3 times? Wakanda Forever?
Oh yeah. It's a tearjerker.
Were they sad moments, happy moments?
From the moment the movie, it was just like.
No, I'm saying is it
objective
sad?
is to make us cry.
No, I'm saying is it negative reasons or positive reasons? Like would
positive?
So I would I'll cry.
You would see T'Challa and tributes to T'Challa. It's
I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about that.
Well, no,
but it's because he died.
Not even that he died, but there's the experience of missing.
Yeah, see, that don't do anything for me.
But then you hear the sister battle with the law. See, I mean, spoilers.
No, I'm saying that don't affect me. I was just curious if it was any positive things. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it either.
The spoiler would be she said something, and I said, I don't think there's strength in denying emotion.
I'm saying
I think there's a beauty in it, in the human experience, that you can say she was transparent in how she say what?
There's a beauty in what he just experienced.
Peeing.
Oh, that was a great feeling.
Yeah, when you're holding for a long time and you let it go, oh my god, it's better than jerking it.
Bomb.
What's important as being as intellectual and being the guy that being as smart as there's a detriment to us to that we have, right? We're so smart, right? No, I'm gonna pee. So I'm gonna wrap this up. We're missing out
on crying about negative things.
No, it's way more profound like that. It's way more profound than that. I'm gonna eat this elephant ear. It's bad for me. It's high in fat. It's got sugars. I'm not.
Oh, I don't know what
funnel cake. Funnel cake.
Yeah,
I heard elephant ear, and I'm like,
funnel cake.
Is this like a foreign food? Funnel cake.
Why deprive yourself of moderation? But why deprive yourself of the experience
Of eating an elephant ear? Mm-hmm. I mean, we could go into that. So,
but this to build on why I understand. It's easy for me.
You should deprive yourself of that, though.
If you're disciplined enough.
But I'm saying there's a reason why you crave it. There's a reason why you enjoy it. And there's a reason. And the reasons why are also the reasons why you should deprive yourself of it.
You don't eat it every day. My point is, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a nihilist.
Yes. I'm not, but.
Like, I'm legit. Like, I'm a nihilist. Like, I've already accepted.
You're suicidal.
Like, oh, for sure. But I have no gripes with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I know that everything we doing.
Watch these episodes while you can.
None of this shit means anything. Like, I've got to the end of the story. I got to the end of the story, guys. I'm saying, I'm like, none of this shit matters, bro.
See that, guys? JD is evil as fuck. He's loving that shit.
But in my nihilism, because I think those concepts can evolve.
Yeah.
And understanding that I can say that being a nihilist, I can appreciate moments in life more than the other people, because I'll never get to do it again. This will never happen again. For me, it'll never happen again. Every moment matters for me.
No, I agree. Every experience, good, bad, and ugly, shape your understanding of life, shapes your relationship that you have with the internal you that's accompanying you along the ride. Everything matters. I think, I try to be very conscious of every experience and decode and reverse engineer. Okay, how did that influence me? How did it influence me? Do I like how it influenced me? If I don't like how it influenced me, how am I going to actively work and change the inner dialogue to change how it affects me? I want to curate my internal dialogue that pertains to my understanding of the experience of life that everyone's living. I want to make sure I curate that dialogue to be as beneficial for me as possible. And that is why I only cry for triumph, success, positive things. Anything negative doesn't faze me at all. I'm not.
So you ain't never cried when Mustafa died in the wildebeest stampede?
I avoid negative. I avoid negativity.
I cried.
Well, no, I didn't. But I avoid negativity with real life animals. I don't fuck with that. Last time I cried for a negative reason, literally, because I feel that is probably more honest to what the topic is meant to discuss.
Just because if you be honest about your cry, you can tell us why you cried.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. So I'm assuming the last time I cried is more. People tend to associate crying with negativity. So the last time I cried for a negative reason was when a close friend of mine passed away, which was, I believe, 2015.
Was it that long?
Didn't even have to put the bias on it.
But what I'm saying is, it's not only when someone passed away. It's one of my favorite songs playing right now.
When you can be honest, that you cried.
That's what I'm saying. The last time uncontrollably, the last time I cried like that uncontrollably was when my friend, you were there when it happened, when a close friend of mine passed away. And it wasn't even when he passed away that I witnessed life for the first time in my life. When I think about it, the whole situation, the whole experience, it's kind of crazy. And I'm kind of proud of myself for how I handle it intellectually anyways, because for the first time in my life, I saw life exit the human body, and I still held it together and everything, and I was still processing everything. And then it wasn't until somebody next to me started asking me these random ass benign questions about how long did you know him? How long? Oh, you guys were really close. Oh, how long?
So you were triggered.
Yeah, I was triggered by, I guess, just the reality of he's gone. He's gone. And then
that's the missing. So
I fainted. I don't know from the third person exactly what happened.
You just fell to the floor.
From my memory, I just kind of started crying. It went black. I woke up, finishing up crying, and I'm on the floor, and everyone else is on the floor, around me. And that was the last time I cried for any real meaningful meaning. Ever since 2015, ever since then, the only time tears accumulated and fell
was Pixar movies.
No, not Pixar. Was moments of success and triumph. It's the only thing that gets me. And I just want to say for the record.
Oh, in 2016, Trump won.
No, I didn't care like that. But I just want to say, while I'm crying during these moments of success and triumph, I never said it. I'm feeling joy. They are tears of joy. I've only experienced tears of joys.
With that being said, it's okay to cry. That's what you called it, a pressure valve?
Yeah.
Well, no. It's okay to cry if you need to cry.
Yeah.
But it's also okay to understand that you shouldn't cry too much. And if you're crying too much, that's a red flag for other things that need fixing. I don't want to just spread the message that it's okay to cry.
Well, no, it's because you need to. We're so bad at pinpointing pain points, right?
If you're crying for negative reasons as a man, I think that it is a signal to things that need changing, and it's okay to cry long as you also focus on changing the things that caused you to cry in the first place.
100%. Cry. That's not necessarily a red flag, but depending on the situation, emotion. I'll never feel these emotions again. I'm going to indulge in these emotions. Not hedonism, but just it's okay to have that emotion.
Yes.
And to cry. Because it's the beauty of life.
All emotions
it's like,
are okay to have as long as you understand
it's like
them.
wine.
Yeah.
The taste of life. If you removed everything, I don't want to live in the heaven of the Christian where you remove all the tastes of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I want to cry. I want to laugh. I want to enjoy in its full experience. This thing that we doing, I only get to do it one time. Because based on all understandings religiously, you're going to take the me that I am. This is sweet. It's wine.
Yeah.
I get to cry. I get to be mad. I get to laugh.
Yeah.
This is important. No,
Yeah.
It's serious. Enjoy this. Enjoy this experience. Because we'll never get it again. For all I know. Not consciously. Maybe you come back something different, and maybe you know another person.
Hopefully the Hindus have it right.
Have reincarnated.
But for now, I'm gonna love life
100%.
to the particle.
100%.
I'm gonna taste it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
As long as the other aspects are there, the self-awareness, the lack of ignorance, and the knowledge, therefore, of who you want to be and what it takes to get there, and if that all aligns, and
you gotta have
and understanding there are consequences to being just an emotional mess versus
you gotta have those
everything.
Things. Life is a balance,
yes,
and you don't do it perfectly, but you do it good enough.
yeah,
But don't enjoy. Do it right, as good as you can. Learn, go out and figure out how to do this shit. But don't stop enjoying the nectar of it. You know, like, don't.
So I made this up. And what I say to myself is learn from the past, prepare for the future. But also, while you're learning from the past and preparing for the future, also enjoy the present. And life, the meaning of life is balancing those three things. The past you learn from, the future you prepare for, and the present you enjoy. And that is a perfect final thoughts from Manny El Fuerte. I got my co-host, Audio
Jones.
Final thoughts?
Hey man, you already know what time it is. Come back around so you can get your soul fed.
And this is Red Solo Talk, and we are men of our words. And we said in the episode where we had requirements for marriage, where we had special guest JD, we had a fucking avatar picture from his sexy Instagram. Mm-hmm. But we got JD in the flesh. And yeah, so glad to have you. Can't wait to have you again. You are going to be you are and going to continue to be a repeat offender. Revolving guest. Final thoughts, JD.
I'm just glad to be here. Glad to be a part of this, and can't wait till next time.
All right, buddy, man.
Until next time, It's your boy, Manny El Fuerte.
And this is Audio Jones. You already know this is Red Solo Talk.
Special guest
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hey, we came here to change lives, and we came here
to talk shit.
Talk some shit.
And Red Solo Talk.
In the midst of all our bullshit, I hope you learned something.
Bye.